All right, sit down, get comfortable, because class is in session. We finna break down this power move that Iran has implemented recently. The power play in question, Iran's decision to end a 52-year-long agreement that was literally the last standing pillar in upholding the financial empire to the United States. Yeah, they have now decided that any oil that is passing through the Strait of Hormuz will not be done with the transaction or with the use of the US dollar. It will now be done with the Chinese yuan. Iran basically said, you want oil, you're going to pay in yuan. No ifs, ands, or buts, no conversation. Now, this is the part where I educate United States citizens about a deal that actually went down in United States history that they don't teach us about. Much like most of the United States history, any power that the United States government has, it was not earned. Okay, they didn't work for it, right? They either stole it from somebody else, lied where it came from, or they negotiated their way into having this power. This is kind of the case with this 52-year agreement that is now ended. The United States dollar power was never earned. Okay. The United States government never earned it. They never worked for it. They negotiated it. And this happened back in 1971. See, back in 1971, President Nixon printed more dollar bills than the United States gold reserve could actually back up. He did this to be able to fund the Vietnam War. Then he abolished the gold standard entirely. He just got rid of it entirely, forcing the United States to now rely solely on the US dollar. But there wasn't shit backing it up, right? So now he had to make a trip. President Nixon had to make a little trip. In 1974, President Nixon took that trip to Saudi Arabia, where he was able to meet with King Faisal, I believe that's his name, and he did so in order to propose a deal, an offer. The offer? Sell oil that is passing through the Strait of Hormuz using only the United States dollar for exchange of military protection, American military protection. King Faisal said yes, thus giving birth to what we now call the petrodollar. So now that every country that needed oil, right, had to buy dollars in order to make these exchanges, to make these transactions, the world now became slaves to the United States dollar. Central banks worldwide were now forced to hold the United States dollars in reserves. A currency backed by nothing but oil has now successfully created an unlimited demand, global unlimited demand for itself. Now, you see, Iran has sovereign rights over the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, they control it and have been controlling it. We are talking about 20% of the world's oil passing through that passing route daily. Okay, daily. And Iran controls that. They control access to that, which is why when the United States and It's Not Real decided that they were going to bomb Iran, they closed off access. They said, you're not getting no oil from the Mideast. So now officially for a month and 4 days, entering its second month, the United States has had no access to oil via the Strait of Hormuz. An action that doesn't just affect the United States' access to oil via the Strait of Hormuz, but it affects 20% of the world's access to oil via the Strait of Hormuz. Hence why you see Donald Trump trying to put pressure on Iran to accept this ceasefire plan that really only benefits the United States, and it's not real. But this is the reason why you see that happening, because these major global energy leaders are on Donald Trump's ass for this war that he has now started that is affecting the oil market. So for a little over a month, Iran had blocked successfully a lot of Western powers from being able to receive oil via the Strait of Hormuz. But now they have issued out a new policy stating, we will conduct business. We will sell you the oil so long as the transactions are done using the Chinese yuan and not the United States dollar, thus ending a 52-year-long agreement. And as I mentioned before, but I'm going to re-emphasize on, this is the last standing pillar that is upholding the United States financial empire. Without this, the United States crumbles. No longer is this a regular type of war anymore. This is now financial. This is financial war. Why, you ask? Well, because India, China, Japan, and South Korea are the biggest oil importers that pass through the Strait of Hormuz, okay? And just so that you know exactly what I'm talking about in terms of dollars, Japan holds 1 trillion in U.S. Treasury bonds, right? China holds 700 billion in U.S. Treasury bonds. We have India that comes in third at 241.6 billion in U.S. Treasury bonds. And then lastly, South Korea with 124.9 billion Treasury bonds. We're talking about almost $3 trillion. $3 trillion. Understand this. With the new policy that Iran has implemented, they would have to sell, drop, get rid of their dollars. And now what? Buy yuan in order to purchase oil because they still need the oil. The moment these nations, these four nations drop the US dollar, they dump the US dollar in exchange for yuan to buy oil, it's over for the United States. It's over for the United States. That right there is the beginning of the end to the domination of the United States financial empire. It's over after that. Fun fact, we're already in debt. The United States government, the United States economy, we're already in debt. Have been in debt. Been in debt. Stay in debt. Okay? Another fun fact. You see how highly funded the United States military is? Yeah, the United States government pays more in debt interest than it does on annual military funding. Yeah. The United States debt trap is finally closing in. It's finally closing in. Did you know, as a United States citizen, that the United States government has to refinance $8 to $9 trillion worth of debt this year? This year they got to do that? So now if interest rates rise, even just a slightest bit, the United States is looking at paying annually $1 trillion in interests. $1 trillion annually in interest alone. The only solution was to print more dollar bills. Print more dollar bills. The world buys those dollars, uses it to purchase oil. Now Iran said, fuck you. After 52 years, Donald Trump ended an agreement that has literally been keeping the United States economy, financial empire afloat. It's over now. It's over now. There is no solution now. Because as I stated before, the only solution that the United States government had was print more dollars. World buys. Print more dollars. World buys. The world always had a reason to buy because they needed oil. Iran just gave them a reason to no longer need a reason to buy. And gave them the ultimate reason. It's over.